that.
I don't know. I think Quinn, that was your thing. Did you come up with one?
It was. I should have been thinking about that. Give me a minute and I will come up with one here.
I can't believe it's not a podcast.
Hello, world. Again.
Yes, hello, YouTube.
We're
if
back.
anybody's actually watching, I'm not watching the YouTube thingy, so somebody else. Can somebody be in charge of like watching the comments and stuff and bringing them up?
I can do that on YouTube. You mean?
Yes, unless it's somehow integrated into Zoom.
Well, we have two comments. We have comments on Zoom and we have comments on YouTube, or
Yes.
we will. So
yeah, we want you to do both.
Okay,
It's crazy.
yeah. What am I doing with
Discord.
these? Just
They're on my screen.
Just in case somebody says, "Oh, it's not
Surfacing
working,"
any
or-
interesting ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I got the
So
title.
you can assume that if we did
All
not
right.
read your comment, it was not interesting.
Something like that, yes.
Oh, and Paul, you and I posted the link simultaneously.
Okay.
Isn't that sweet?
Went to the Poly Retro Assembly Cast Chicken Missile Drop Grue Museum. It was very nice.
Thank you. It's my craft.
Okay. So welcome one and all to the Mega Podcast. Quinn, can you tell us the name of the podcast again?
All right, I'm going to bring us in. We'll cut it right there.
Please do.
Hello and welcome to Poly Retro Assembly Cast Chicken Missile Drop Grue Museum, the annual mega podcast for KansasFest this year for 2021.
Woohoo! Yay! All right.
Yahoo!
Yeah.
Charles, take it away.
Thank you, Quinn. I don't know if we want to go around and introduce ourselves. Probably best if we keep it brief. I will go. I'll go first. I'm Charles Mangin. I'm the chicken projectilist. I don't know. For Chicken Missile, which is actually an offshoot of this very podcast's previous years, turned into a semi-regular kind of a thing. And going alphabetically by first name, Carrington.
Hello, I'm Carrington, and I'm on things like the RCR and Chicken Missile and Eaten by a Grue.
And Chris.
Hello, I'm Chris Torrence, and I have a YouTube channel called Assembly Lines, and you can find me on Twitter at CT6502.
Joe.
Joe Strohsnyder from Joe's Computer Museum on YouTube, where I take apart old 8-bit computers and try not to blow them up. You can find me on Twitter at Museum Joe.
Okay. Kate, you need to match his level of enthusiasm.
I used that up earlier this afternoon. Hi, I'm Kate. A lot of people also call me Kat. I have a Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Lady Iluros. Probably want to look that one up in the comments. And I'm also on Chicken Missile occasionally.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kay Savitz, Eaten by a Grue and Antic, the Atari 8-bit podcast.
Ken.
Hi, I'm Ken Gagney of Juice GS Magazine, also the podcast Transporter Lock and Polygamer, and I keep Chris Torrance in my closet.
Mark, who do you have in your closet?
Beagles.
I can work with that.
And that is Michael.
Hi, I'm Mike Mulhern, Retro Computing Roundtable. I'm the Down Under connection.
Paul.
I'm Paul Hegstrom. I'm on the Retro Computing Roundtable. Very occasionally on Drop 3 Inches, sometimes on Chicken Missile as well.
And bring us home, Quinn.
Once again, screwed by the alphabet. I am Quinn of the Retro Computing Roundtable and also the YouTube channel Bloody Hacks, but that's actually unrelated to all of this.
Well, not as screwed as me.
No,
Not really.
Oh, it's a damn good YouTube channel. Plenty
Yeah,
of retro
no,
stuff
you do
going
some
on
retro
there.
stuff. Yeah.
Heavy metal, girl.
Did I skip you, John?
Yes.
You skipped me. It's okay. I'm used to it. No.
Sorry.
See, I'm
That's okay.
next to
No.
you. I wish I could hand you a Kleenex through the Zoom.
Hey, I'm John Leake. I am the co-host of the Retro Mac Cast. You can find us on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts.
John, you have to do your Alf impression.
Ken. Every year. Okay.
Excellent. So I had a couple of ideas of things that we could talk about. Obviously, the usual thing with sort of a recap of KansasFest for people who were not here, were not able to attend. A little different, of course, from most previous years because we're all in different places. Last year was virtual as well, and that was kind of thrown together really quickly and went off, I would say, without a hitch. And this year seemed to go even more smoothly because I'm guessing that the planning was more robust, I guess.
I mean, it was
Kate,
nice to know at the beginning. Yeah, we knew from the beginning that this was going to be virtual, and we were able to, instead of having to pivot this year, we actually could start at the, we know this is going to be virtual. What can we do to make it better than last year?
Basically building off our working from home experience.
I didn't get to work from home.
I occasionally got to work from work.
So I think to keep the podcast under 2 hours or hour and a half or
3,
whatever, we're gonna topic number 1, what we won't be talking about. We won't be talking about COVID, vaccines, lockdowns, any of that kind of stuff. And we'll just skip right into everyone can say KansasFest is about the people.
It's the people.
It is. No, it really is.
It's the people. It's the people.
There was no
most of the
people here. No, there was no one here
except you. You know who you are.
Yeah. You know what you did.
Yeah, it's Carrington.
I knew what I did.
The sad thing is he does not know who he is.
Yeah, that is the sad part.
So with that out of the way, Michael, you're calling in from the farthest away. What did you think? How much of the virtual KansasFest were you able to attend?
Well, I decided I was going to attend it all, even if it did mean getting up before midnight, so that I could tune in. So I'm waiting for this show to end so I can have breakfast. But the way things are going, I think it might be called lunch. So it was great, and I love. In my opinion, we had the best presentation right at the end. It might not have been what I was expecting, but boy, an Apple II, that was unreal.
Can you talk about what that was for the listeners, Michael?
Did.
It was a virtual reality Apple II with all the bells, whistles, drive clacks, green screen, real basic programming in there, interfacing into a game. I'm just going to have to find the link for that and send that out to some of the folks I keep in communication with at work who haven't burnt the bridges, or I haven't burnt the bridges with them on. But no, it was one of the best implementations of an emulator that I have seen of any hardware, and the extension of it that it could be used for so many different things, from virtual museums, teaching. It was just fan-freaking-tastic.
So for anyone who missed it, it was an Apple II modeled and built in the Unreal game engine, and then there was a real emulator underpinning it so that you could actually write code on the Apple II, and then he provided a memory mapped connection to the game environment so you could control doors and things in the game with Apple II code. It's a little mind-bending, but very clever, very cool.
It was the thing that actually sort of struck me the most, that I expected the least about that, was the sort of like missed like puzzle aspect to it, that there's knobs in the wall that you have to turn, and you have to poke things in memory and read things, and so it was really part of the game in a real way.
I'll be honest, I thought that was going to be a quick chance for me to rush away and get some breakfast. And I'm just glad that I saw how it was developing. And it was amazing. So I think we've got to get that YouTube link out if it's going to be available.
Yeah, it seemed to me like a major evolution from those choose your own adventure kind of books where it would get to the end of the chapter and it would say, oh, you need to decode these, this message. And now that you've learned from the previous chapters, you can write it in BASIC on your computer, or here's the BASIC code, you need to debug it. And that's just like, it's in the game. You, as part of the game, you're typing in and controlling. He showed like controlling the charging of a capacitor that opened a door. And it's like, that's a huge puzzle to solve, but also that's a really good lesson for someone who's learning programming.
Yeah, I was expecting him to poke in the incorrect value and start releasing poisonous gas into the environment system, and he needed to get it fixed quickly. But no, it's. But yeah, it was a great way of capping off a marvelous 2 days of presentations. As far as presentations go, from all of the in-person KFests and last year, I think this was the one that I enjoyed the presentations the most. It was amazing. And if we can sort of like keep that kind of level going, KansasFest has got another 30-something years in it.
Quinn, you're up next on my screen. What was your first impression? Or best impression?
Yeah, I guess I was expecting to be similar to last year, and it was in a good way. I think for a lot of folks, the virtual KFest is kind of their first experience with like actually going to all the sessions. And I'm a sessions person. When I'm at KFest, I go to basically all of them. I really like it. So I miss most of what happens in the lobby and so on. But I really enjoy the talks, and there was a lot of good ones this year. It was hard to pick a winner, honestly. I really enjoyed Jeremy Rand's talk about his graphics engine in Bugs.js. That was great. There was a wrapper for MAME for emulating the GS that I loved. That was really great. Gosh, it's hard to even pick a favorite. There were so many good ones. The double high res video streaming from the CFFA. I mean, we've been talking about that for a little while now on the podcasts, but to see it all, in detail, exactly how he did it, was really amazing. That's one of those tricks that's so good that people don't believe it. And, he's been showing that hack on Facebook and other places, and people don't believe him that it's real. It's that good. So that's certainly the sign that you're doing something really special and really new.
Yeah, a lot of GS love this year. I saw a number of the sessions coming up when they were announced. It's like there's a lot of 16-bit stuff.
Yeah, unusual. Usually it's just me and Dagan sitting in the extra room crying into each other's shoulders. But no, this year it was all GS all the time.
Next year, Paul, that's the year for the 3.
Absolutely.
I also thought that this year was really the year that MAME shined. Not just from Calvin Sherlock's ample front end, which he had a whole presentation on, which you should definitely watch and use, which I do use, but also, talking about Apple III emulation and Paul's talk and, several other things. And somebody was, taking screenshots, and someone's like, oh, what emulator is that? And the answer was always MAME. Anyway, I've been using it for testing WAS support in emulators, but like I didn't realize that anyone else had sort of noticed that MAME was actually a really good Apple II emulator now. Anyway, it's great to see.
Yeah, for a long time you couldn't do like the 2C or the C+, or I can't remember what it was. It was sort of hit and miss as far as what it was, what it supported.
Yeah, no, it's gotten a lot of very dedicated love from developers. I know that Cucumba is active in that development, somewhat active in that development community as well. And so he's sort of been a bridge to some people who wouldn't otherwise, bother posting a
yeah,
bug
they're
report or
not going to pay
whatever.
attention to a bunch of hobbyists, but when it's
Right, but it's someone,
when
it's
a
one of their
real,
own
like,
that they trust,
hardcore to the
who can reproduce anything. And
Mhm.
anyway, so but I mean that doesn't come for free. Like there's a lot of development hours put into allowing you to boot any of these, much less the fancy stuff that we've seen.
Yeah, I think the level of support that MAME is getting right now, even on the Apple II, that was a real big takeaway for me from the Apple presentation, was that he said there's something like 60 new commits just on Apple II stuff this year. So there are a lot of people actively developing it, which is more than you can say for, frankly, most Apple II emulators. That counts for a lot. It's still, a little bit buggy, especially on the GS, but the fact that it's getting active development really counts for a lot. And I think the real impact of Ample, I think for some of us, certainly me, is that it just shatters that barrier to entry. Like MAME terrifies me. Like I managed to get it set up for my MAME arcade machine, and it took me like 3 weeks, and I never wanted to do it again. It was just 3 weeks of digging through documentation and INI files, and it was a nightmare. I had my personal 2GS programming project up and running in MAME through Ample in 90 seconds. Like it literally just worked. There was a button that said download all the ROMs, and it did. There was a button that said make a 2GS, and it did. And it was just running. So, I mean, that alone is a huge impact, I think. So MAME is definitely, coming to its own.
Yeah, for so long, MAME wasn't even on the list of go-to emulators for the Apple II system, or people just chucked it on the end to say, and MAME. But now it's a serious contender, and the ease of use there, that is something that I want to hook up now, especially being an Apple II aficionado. There's now an emulator out there that caters directly to me.
I'm hoping that I've been trying to compile MES, the MES version of MAME for the Raspberry Pi, because I realized LinApple does not even run full speed Apple II on an early Raspberry Pi. The only one that will is a Pi 4 out of LinApple will actually run full speed. So I'm hoping that'll be a solution.
Yeah, I think
maybe just not to deviate too far from Apple II, but Ample is a good front end. It has in it the front end for the Macs as well. So, which is something I never think of MAME for. But
the what?
That's another area that's gotten a lot of development love in the last year, especially was the early Mac support in MAME.
Yeah, Ample is just a great MAME front end for Macs, period. I mean, it's got a ROM management interface and a platform manager. Like you can go in there and add other stuff. And the great thing about it is that it generates command lines for you as well, and scripts. So if you want to integrate it into your build pipeline, for example, you can configure MAME in the nice GUI, and then it tells you what the command line is to do that same thing, which you can then paste into your make file. So like that alone's worth the price of admission.
MAME has been
anything that spits out
Macs.
something I can double click on, and then or send to somebody and they can double click on it. Kay, you're next on my screen. What was your impression this year?
The conference was great. The talks were great. The people who put on the conference were great. I have no complaints. It was wonderful. However, I at the risk of being a Debbie Downer, online KansasFest is 1/1000th the fun of real life KansasFest. And so I found this to be a bittersweet experience. For me personally, and this is just me and whatever my attitude this weekend, more bitter than sweet. I mean, last year, the pandemic was relatively new. I was very stressed about the world situation and like, oh boy, KansasFest, here's something different. Here's all my friends. And it was a big relief. And this year, I was happy to see all y'all, but it was still like, oh, it's another Zoom conference. And so I went and I enjoyed myself. And yet I felt like, this should be more fun. I should be wandering the halls of Rockhurst and,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm with Kay on that one. That's what I definitely miss, is just the accidental conversations that you get yourself into, the sidebars that just occur because you just bump into somebody and you just start chatting, and you've got to have a mindset of, no, this is just not another Zoom conference for work. I got to that's why I made sure I moved downstairs back into the 8-bit bunker, away from where I'm normally doing my work. And yeah, I'm with Kay. I really miss the personal interaction, and I would have loved to have had more people over here with me sharing that experience, but not mentioning the C word, but we're in lockdown here. We're not even allowed to leave our houses at the moment, or blocks of land, whatever. So
what does that have to do with Commodore?
Yeah, I feel kind of the same way, but part of me is like, this is a lot more comfortable, you know, than going out in the world would normally be. I had Discord open, I had Slack open, I had the Zoom chat windows open, I had stuff like things on my phone, and like I had so many screens around me. It's almost like I should have had, like, with the VR goggles and just been in that Unreal Engine and walking around the halls. It was almost immersive.
I know, 4 screens going, and I still had to reach for my iPhone to check something.
I feel UK though. I mean, it was KFest is awesome, and I'm super glad that we're able to do it this way. It's just so much better than nothing. But yeah, I think at this point we're all a little weary of Zoom for sure. I felt that also.
Does anyone have the attendance numbers for this year? How many people watched the live streams versus signed into the Zoom webinar?
We were in the high 200s, I think, both days on Zoom.
I think we had about 450 people registered, and then I think Kat's right. It was 250, maybe approximately, who were actually in the Zoom at any one time. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's between it was usually between 250 and 300.
And there was also the YouTube. Sometimes people would switch to the YouTube because Zoom couldn't quite handle it for some people or locations. So YouTube was sometimes better.
Ken says the YouTube live stream has 433 views.
Speaking of Ken, how many KansasFests is this now for you? Is it like 24, 25?
You are right on the nail. 24 consecutive KansasFest for me out of the 33 that have been held. It's my second virtual KansasFest. Like everybody else, hoping it's my last virtual conference, last virtual KansasFest. Don't disagree with anything Kay said, but this was still 1/1000th more KansasFest than we could have otherwise. So I'm glad for that, at least. My challenge with online conferences is when I go to physical KansasFest like Quinn, I like to attend the sessions, and I try to close my laptop and pay attention to the session. With a virtual conference, you can't close your laptop and attend the session. And so I have my computer open and I can't help myself but watch the session and look at the Zoom chat and look at the 20 different Discord channels and check Twitter and check my email, because KansasFest is happening in all of those places at any given time. So I'm very much looking forward to a conference where I can be a little bit less distractible. That said, this KansasFest was amazing, and my favorite session was about the Chinese computer by Bruce Rosenblum of Publish It 3, the desktop publishing program for the Apple II, and Tom Mulaney, who previously wrote the book, The Chinese Typewriter, for MIT Press. He's working on an upcoming book, The Chinese Computer, also for MIT Press. And they were talking about Sinotype 3, a Chinese word processor that Bruce developed for the Apple II, despite not knowing Chinese, which I thought was the real kicker. He's like, here I am using my program and I'm really just posing for the photo. I don't know what I'm doing here. That was amazing. I had the pleasure to meet Bruce. He's based in the Boston area. Jason Scott actually introduced us one year. I was interviewing Jason for Computer World magazine, and I did a ride along. I basically just wanted to see what a day in the life of Jason Scott was like. That explains a lot of my nightmares.
I was gonna say.
But he stopped by Bruce's office, and he introduced us, and we've been in frequent communication ever since. So it was great to see him at KansasFest. And of course, I'm delighted to be attending some of KansasFest in person with Chris, who's on my screen just right there. So, I mean, last year I was huddled in a basement in Missoula, Montana. This year I get to hang out with an actual Apple II user at KansasFest. So that's something a lot of us don't get to do nowadays.
Maybe next year you'll be huddled in a basement in Missouri.
I would love that.
Or in a
all
cabin.
together in the chapel.
That's right.
One of the new sort of dorm cabins. So we
I
got
see a set of Beagle brothers on the screen.
yeah.
Aw. Aw. Bernard.
This is Bernard. He remembers Ken. Ken met Bernard many months ago.
I don't know how your pictures are oriented, folks, but I've got Mark with a beagle and Quinn's shoulders from Mark's shoulders. So for me, it's I've just
see it on
posted
YouTube. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You can drag and drop the tiles. You can move them to make that happen.
Yeah, I've just posted that photo on Twitter and onto the Apple Enthusiast group. So Quinn, I love your beagle.
Thank you. It's new. Did you like my E7 Bitstream t-shirt?
Oh, the bit. Quick, Mark, change your t-shirt.
Please.
This is great podcast material, by the way, everyone.
Turn your camera off first.
Yeah, YouTube's the YouTube guys, the YouTube viewers are getting bonus material.
Bonus content. Yeah.
Bonus level.
So we've heard about some of the people's favorite sessions. I wanted to have a rundown of what people thought of the Hackfest this year. There was it was all gold.
Oh my gosh.
Not only did I not have time to enter anything, but I would have withdrawn my entry as soon as I saw Cucumba's name come up in the Discord saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna whip out something here and 10 bytes." I'm like, okay, nope.
And
several people expressed that sort of sentiment, but honestly, the scoring was very close between first, second, and third.
And Mark, why don't you explain Cucumba's entries? You're probably best qualified to do so.
Yeah, so Cucumba likes to write low-level disk code, and he's written a number of different bootloaders that boot up a floppy disk very quickly. He wrote all of the low-level code for Total Replay and Pitch Dark, and he took an idea and kind of ran with it for Hackfest of writing a bootloader that would load up off of a standard 5¼ floppy disk on real hardware on a real Apple II using, the real Apple II ROMs and so on, except that the bootloader is written almost entirely in BASIC, which is completely insane, even given Cucumba's base level of insanity.
Yeah. And when I want to clarify, it's
anyway,
not just
that's the best way I can describe it.
It's using like whole routines and stuff, and it's not just like poking the bytes in that would be would be in there anyway.
Oh no. You like with the sector editor, you can go look and read the code because it's actually text in the on the disk, and which it then takes and moves into the input buffer and then tells the Apple II ROM to go interpret it in a certain way, either as a set of monitor commands or later as a set of basic commands. Like he's actually, there's an entire basic program in the bootloader. Like it's not just peek this and poke that. It's anyway, it defies, he has an entire write-up, which is several pages long, and is probably still missing a lot of details, and it defies explanation.
Yeah, I kind of feel that we all turn up to a 10-line program competition in the Old West, and then suddenly Cucumber turns up with the sun behind him. He's go 10 bytes or go home, and all of us just scatter. It's amazing. When I saw what he was doing, how he did it, I was going, oh, I'm so glad I have no time to actually to do what I wanted to do for Hackfest. So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's all play for second place.
I think I was really struck just by the very first step. I think the very first step was brilliant, because I mean it really is like, I forget what it is, 12 bytes or something. But basically what he did was he recruited pieces of the computer that were there for other purposes. And he basically just like read the first sector into the keyboard buffer. I mean, so he managed to like point the input, the buffer at where the keyboard buffer was going to go. So he just, sucked in that data and then said, interpret, so it's basically just whatever you can do, 10 bytes. And then from there, it could build up the rest of it, which is also amazing. But just thinking of that first step is, I mean, the thing is, it's that much code.
It's literally bootstrapping from nothing.
This long.
What was the
that said,
is that the listener, the GS listener?
Yeah, I wanted to
wild.
mention listener. Listener was
That
very
was
cool.
Amazing.
And if you haven't seen it, he also posted, for those who didn't see, the KansasFest listener is a combination iOS app and 2GS new desk accessory. So it works in any 2GS, the app that runs on GSOS, and it does dictation. You talk into your iPhone, and it communicates over the local network to your network enabled 2GS, which still sort of blows my mind. I'm not really in that world, and every time I see somebody who does something,
I'd love to see
the network,
use that to actually write his bootstrap.
Yeah.
Don't give him
so
ideas.
like he's talking, and then in real time it's showing up on the 2GS screen. It's being typed, but for those who haven't seen it, he also did a demo video of playing a text adventure with this. So he's actually speaking the commands, and they're getting typed into
he's pandering
the
to the
GS.
judges.
And it's just a phenomenal combination of old and new.
Yeah.
I just
Take
think
lamp,
that
new line.
As someone who works in education,
Get lamp, new line.
Just the fact that it's going to make the Apple II, at least the Apple II GS, accessible to more people. If you have issues with your hands and you can't type, so much of the Apple II is unavailable to you. But if you can, talk to your computer, that's going to open up a whole new world for a whole new set of people to get into this. And that was what made me go, ah!
I already talked to my computer.
But speaking of accessible, I love the fact that there were these professional captions for the Zoom this year, and they were crazy good.
Thank you so
Watching them, I'm like,
much
how does
for
anybody
paying for
do
that.
this and keep up live with all this jargon, like vintage computer jargon? It was very impressive, and I
downloaded the transcript of my talk, and like, except for a couple of places where I was saying like the hex bytes. It looked great. It was grammatically correct and everything. So I'm gonna take that and attach it to the video when I post it somewhere. So it's just, it's great. That was a big addition this year. Even when I could watch it scrolling by as it was muted and I was doing something for work on Friday, I was like, I'm gonna keep an eye on this.
Yeah, didn't we have that last year?
We had it. Yeah, we had it last year
It was the
because we
same.
actually
I didn't even know.
we had a request for it last year, actually, and it's just, again, from an accessibility standpoint, we're like, yeah, that makes sense. That scans.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
see, I don't remember it being
mentioned
mentioned last year, so I don't
in
remember
person.
taking advantage of it.
Yeah, she did it last year, and she actually messaged us after it was over this year saying, actually, even though we're paying her to do the service, she was like, thanks so much for, letting me be part of this. And I actually, enjoy doing this, even though, she said she didn't necessarily understand a whole lot of it, but she apparently, it was enjoyable. So it's great.
She learned a lot about double high res or high res.
GS, the Apple II GS, whatever that.
Yeah, she's our new subject matter expert on quite a few different topics.
This was the year of double high res. Actually, there was a talk explaining the internals of how it works. That was the best talk on that I've seen. Every year, seemingly, there's a talk that at least covers exactly how the Apple II maps the bit stream onto an NTSC waveform. but this was the best version of that I've ever seen. Like, it was concise and it had the color space and it showed how it adds the vectors from the bits to create the colors. It was just chef kiss. It was perfect. So if you're still mystified by how Apple II video is generated from the bits in video memory, go watch that talk, because it's outstanding.
Yeah. So anybody who was planning for a future KFest of explaining that particular thing, find something else to present about, because it's been done. Yeah, that was one of those things I was like, okay, there's going to be 2 or 3 talks of re-explaining in a different way things that were explained in the past that I didn't quite catch, or I did at the time, but as soon as the session was over, it disappeared. And there were several things this year where it was like, it partly because I think I was focused on that and not distracted by going out in the hall and all the other things and sleep deprivation. But some of the explanations for things that were that had been talked about before, they just they clicked, and maybe tomorrow I'll have completely forgotten them again, but for right now I have a much better grasp.
Yeah, there was
and
also,
speaking of graphics, the artist, the Lucia
Oh my
Grisberger
gosh.
Morales,
That was my favorite session.
maximizing Apple color bit by bit was such a
That
fascinating
was
talk.
so good.
Yeah. And along with the one for Jeff Raskin, I loved that we had effectively some sessions which were stories. They were narrative. They weren't technical sessions. They were some good stories. So Petar with his ROM journeys with his Oki printers, that was good. It was storytelling, and a lot of the times I think a little bit of storytelling goes a long way. And there were not a session, but in between the sessions, there was Ken's moth presentation. And again, that was a great story. And I think it doesn't hurt to have a bit of storytelling going on, just to get us through can be somewhat dry technical things at times. No matter how interesting it is to find out exactly how the color space of double high res works, I like a nice story.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, even though I completely agree with Kay and what he was saying about the in-person versus the virtual, that is one advantage of doing virtual, is you can draw the presentations from a broader pool, where people that maybe wouldn't normally travel to Kansas City in the middle of July, or just it was something that they did 30 years ago, but they're not invested in it now. We saw some really cool talks, like Lucia's, like the one on the Sinotype, the Chinese. I don't think we would have seen either one of those at a regular KansasFest, because there would have been no incentive for them to come and give that talk. So there is something a little bit to be said for, maybe we'll do a virtual every 10 or 15 years, we can.
Well, I mean, could you see reaching out to some of these people to have a pre-recorded thing to air at KansasFest, and
I was going to say,
kind of going forward.
Note to organizers: grab some storytelling and some other recorded material from people who can't make it. Some of the sessions this year
seemed to do better in a recorded format, because they had that production, being able to zoom in on things and really focus on things that were visual, or they had elements of something that you couldn't really grasp by sitting in an audience on a projector and somebody pointing at things. So having that as an option for people, not only because nobody has to travel, but because some people have things that don't work out well presented live in a talking head kind of format. Another one of those notes for future KFest.
The recorded ones were great, because they gave the presenter the opportunity to go in and say, I need to explain something. So it was good. It was allowed for a nice finished product that fitted nicely into the allocated time. It was superb.
I think there's a greater number of those pre-recorded sessions this year as well compared to last year, and I think that made the entire KFest move a lot more smoothly. We were able to go from session to session to session with fewer glitches, hops, and steps, because it's just play video, answer questions, next session. Let's do the thing. The downside is we lose some of that wonderful interaction that we have in person, though. So.
Right, but everybody that's done their pre-recorded knows exactly how long it's going to take, because they've edited it or whatever.
That was actually nice from a planning perspective too. It's like, okay, we know this was going to take this much of the slot, so we know what time to be ready to, come back in and take questions or whatever. That was actually made it a lot. There's just
set the
And yet
alarm to
sometimes
wake
they
up.
still run long.
Yeah, except for the few that we got that were actually longer than the allotted time, but that's okay.
It's not perfect system.
Well, I mean, one of them was recorded like at 2 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
Because he had he had an emergency basically to attend to.
Yeah.
Charles, I want to say on yours, the understanding blockchain with the Apple II, I understand blockchain a lot better than I did. That was a fantastic talk.
I'm actually going to pass that blockchain one of yours on to some people I know who were wanting me to explain blockchain, and I'd rather your explanation than anything I could actually come up with.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said in the talk, it's like I understand something better if I've built one internal combustion engines, I kind of understand theoretically, but I've never really gotten my hands inside of one.
But you still have to get
speaking of building things.
You still get Quinn to make you a bid.
Which one? What, Carrington?
I was saying, speaking of building things, I was really impressed by Scott Berk's Apple II home, the Spikeputor.
The big wall thing. That was good.
Yeah.
So good.
A 16-bit was a RISC microprocessor made of discrete electronics. And just like that whole talk was mind-blowing.
When you mention visual computing, it's not quite what you expect.
Again, for anyone who didn't see it, it was a homebrew computer built entirely from discrete transistors, something like 9,000 transistors. So he built up his own ALU and his own shifters and adders and everything, and the control unit and everything. He had LEDs and everything. The EL wire was a real standout feature. So he paired each of his buses with EL wires that lit up when those buses were accessed, so you could actually see the data moving around in the computer. That's a feature I have not seen before in a homebrew machine.
He sourced large pegboard sized breadboards to actually wire it all up on. I thought even just to that extent it was great. But those electroluminescent wiring showing the activity paths, it was great.
I love that he spared no shortcuts either. He even went, okay, I could just throw a 555 timer in there to be my time. No, I'm going to build one out of it. Because why not? I did the whole thing. I might as well do that too.
Yeah, and then for the Apple II connection, he used his Apple II to debug it and to talk to it, which was super cool. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, because when I think of EL wire, I think of like costuming applications where people just like plug it into a power box and use it to light wings or whatever up. It's actual wire, and it can. That was the big. It's actual wire, and it can actually carry electricity, and glow at the same time. And now I've got ideas.
Yeah, it's like the inside of all those clear case Apple IIs is going to be. John, do you have one?
Done EL wire in costuming. And they also make EL panels too. They make electroluminescent panels. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like rainbow ribbon cable where each one is a different color.
Yes.
It's like, I'm going to going to the floppy drive and it's got the
get that Kickstarter going.
That'll be the new option 8 project. We'll see.
I'll put an order in for a couple of tens of meters.
I'm done making hardware, I think. Just too many supply side problems. All right, so we've talked about some of the sessions, talked about how awesome the organizers are, and we've talked about Hackfest. There were some other contests. Was there? I know there was a high score contest for bugs.
Yeah, the high score for bugs. That was just kind of popped up at the last minute, actually, because it was like, hey, we haven't done anything like this in actually several KansasFests, whether or not it's virtual or in person. So let's do it this year, especially because everybody's, really into this game and it's getting a lot of attention. So let's do the thing.
And there's going to be a whole talk about how the graphics.
And there's going to be a whole talk about how it was done.
Optimizing it. Yeah.
yeah, so we said, and it was, it was not that hard. Something like that's not that hard to put together. It was just the big worry that I had, and Jeremy was super helpful with, was people, I don't know why you would cheat, but whatever. But Jeremy said Jeremy had a pretty good idea if anybody was up to funny business, and it went really well. And people, I think, people got into it.
Yeah, was there there wasn't like a door contest. Was there a backdrop contest last year?
No, we didn't do that this year. We've tried to do something. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're breathing too heavily, Kat.
There was such a contest last year, but it kind of didn't go very well. It was not. It was kind of unclear exactly what the rules were, and so we decided it'd be better for just a door. Next time there are physical doors.
Another thing that just sort of cropped up out of nowhere was Slackfest, which was the people who couldn't get their Hackfests in on time. They just we're going to do our own thing, and with no deadlines and no rules, and there were several submissions, and I didn't have to judge it, so that was great.
Oh, I think that's the competition for me then.
It's good that sort of ad hoc thing was able to come up, because that's kind of the spirit of the event too.
Yeah, it does help fill some of that spontaneity that you get when you're there in person, for sure. It's nice that people are doing stuff like that virtually, at least.
Yeah, all the Hackfest prizes were bought by the KansasFest committee this year. Usually they go looking for donations. So when they said one of the prizes is a Juice GS subscription, I was like, wait a minute, they didn't ask me about that. And I was like, oh wait, they didn't need to.
Yeah. Ken gets to have another dinner.
I get to put that money toward more pizza for y'all next year.
Woohoo!
Mm-hmm. You can take us all out to the vegetarian restaurant again, and buy us all a bunch of video games at the arcade. And
love it. Except one of our vegetarian restaurants closed forever, like 3 years ago.
It's all right. There's still like one more in Kansas City, right?
This is true. We now go there like twice a year due to lack of alternatives. But yeah.
All right. Is there anything that other folks want to highlight or shut us?
Yeah, I got one. There was some really amazing hardware projects this year, and one real standout one was the DMA card that's under development. He's building a card based on a CPLD dev board that can go in an Apple II and basically act as DMA for any regions of memory. And he's targeting it specifically as a video accelerator, but you could use it for a lot of things. And he's specifically implementing Amiga-like custom chips. So he's specifically creating a copper and a blitter and similar chips with the remaps and the interrupts and so on. So it's the potential of that is absolutely enormous. It was extremely clever, and the applications of that I think are really broad. Just a generic fast DMA could accelerate just about any part of the machine. So that was super cool. That was Michael Morrison, the DMAC I believe was the name of that project. So it's still early in development, but he's got some basic things working, and I think this time next year that might be really amazing.
Was his the one I had to kind of go back and forth so much because of work and other things. Was his the one that demoed basically like hardware sprites, like the sprite?
Yeah, exactly.
Generation?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's because it's just a memory mover. It's agnostic to video modes, to anything else. So you want double low res hardware sprites, you get them because it's just moving memory around. So yeah, super cool. And then he's implementing the copper from the Amiga, so it can do transforms, so it can mask and combine backgrounds and do all that kind of stuff. So you get all kinds of layering and stuff, which, I mean, on an Apple II, that amount of horsepower is, it would be crazy what you could do with that.
Especially the potential of having it just have its own memory map, and so like I can just deal with things linearly and just say, you throw it into where it's supposed to go and forget the holes in the way, just because the Apple II really suffers from the odd memory mapping for video. And the idea that you could just say, forget it, here, take this and just dump it. That's huge.
Yeah, that's
as
a specific
as exemplified by the 19 different double low res or double high res how to do purple and double high res talks over the last few years. Yeah.
Yeah, and that linear memory remap is an application that wasn't specifically on his mind, but it's one of these projects that people started coming up with other ways to use it. And that was one that came up was, if you're remapping anyway, why don't you just present me with a virtual linear memory buffer and I can fill that, and then you can DMA that into the crazy format of the Apple II's video memory, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's just huge. I mean, that's automatic acceleration right there. If I don't have to bounce every video memory right off 3 different lookup tables, that kind of stuff. Is
avoiding
really cool.
potholes by ignoring the potholes.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot more hardware this year. I think people had, not only were it was more accessible as a thing to present because you could do multiple cameras and get close in on things, but people were just more comfortable with doing different kinds of projects because again, they're not having to present it to a room full of people on a projector that you can edit your thoughts,
or taking,
which I can't do when I'm talking.
Or taking a wall full of 16-bit homemade computer, putting it into a suitcase, traveling to.
Yeah, right. Some of the hardware stuff is cool because you don't have to move it. You don't have to take it through or TSA. I would love to see what the TSA would have to do with some of the stuff we saw this year.
That's why you drive. That's why you pack up the trunk of the SUV and you.
Well, that's why I drive. Oh, yeah, no, that's why I drive.
You should see their faces when you try to ship nearly 100 pounds of hardware in your suitcase from USA back to Sydney.
You just drive.
Attention. No,
yes.
The wet bit puts me off.
The car is not amphibious, at least not twice.
Yeah. It's finding a good boat ramp on the West Coast is the problem.
All right, so that puts us at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So we've been doing this for about an hour.
Game.
I feel like we're
game.
Yeah, I feel like we're sort of waxing or waning.
Yeah.
In our energy level. I know my blood sugar's gone dangerously low. So
some of you look sleepy, and I'm hungry.
drinking soda, which I drink soda twice a year: KansasFest and Desert Bus. So,
well, at least you don't have to keep holding the joystick and
yeah, exactly,
bearing left or whatever. Would you guys like to play a little game?
Would we like to play a game? Yes.
A game.
Okay. So I have here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if I can. I don't know exactly what that. Let's see if I can actually share that. Hey, I have permissions. Okay. Let's see here. Will that work?
This is the part that reminds us of all of the Zoom meetings we've had over the year.
Yeah.
It's a spreadsheet.
How exciting.
It is just another Zoom meeting we've had all year.
So,
but is it
John,
budget time
already?
already?
I made sure that I put you in here. So just make sure everybody's got your names in the list here.
Everybody but you, Charles?
Yes, because I'm going to be doing the math.
Yep.
Well, I mean, partly. So, so this game, this game, I haven't got a name for it yet, but it's something that I came up with when we were talking about numbers for episode N for Chicken Missile. I didn't end up using it because I wasn't quite, hadn't quite cemented the rule set. Yeah. And this should be fun with what, 12 players, 11 players? Awesome. Okay.
Not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Fun asterisk.
You say that.
Guaranteed. Actual fun may vary.
It'll be fun for me.
Yeah. Quantities of fun may vary.
So first off, everyone starts right now with 50 points.
Yay, it's a time for first place.
Mm-hmm. And when play commences, the player with the highest score will go first, and then alphabetically in case of a tie, which is why the list is sorted as it is. Each player starts with 50 points and must give away at least 1 point per round, but no more than half of their current point score. And if we get to half points, you get rounded up. So if you have 25, you can give away 13, you keep 12. So no half points. The first player to reach 250 points wins. Otherwise, the player with the lowest point score after the 5 or 6 rounds that I have, or however long we can tolerate each other, wins. So you can either aim for 250, win early, or go for the lowest point score and last out the rest of the game. Whole numbers only, no negative numbers, fractions, decimals, none of that kind of crazy kind of stuff. And there are 2 crazy rounds mixed in there. They are the red and the red and the blue. Everyone understand what's going on?
No, let's start.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna nod like yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Carrington.
It's a Charles game, so we'll all learn as we go.
Sure, exactly.
exactly.
We'll figure it out as we go.
So
Next adventure, learn by death.
Carrington, you go first because you're
Okay, so
alphabetically.
I have to give away some points that I can give away.
You
up
have
to
50
half my
points, and you must give away at least 1, as many as 25, to player of your choice.
Okay, then I will give 25 points to Quinn.
All right, so 25.
You're
for
welcome.
Carrington, to Quinn, and
Sweet,
Quinn
I'm winning.
gets
I think.
25. And my screen should.
Why isn't this
Yes,
stored
all
on the blockchain?
It's not built yet.
It's still computing it.
It's still computing, exactly. All right, Quinn, since you have the highest number of points now and you have not yet gone this round, you get to go next.
All right, I'm going to give 1 point to Paul.
Okay, so Quinn gives 1 point to Paul. And so now you are at 24 for this round. Okay, and so next up is Paul.
I think I sort of see what's happening, but only kind of. Okay, so I have 51 points. I can give 26 points to somebody or 1, or something
You
in
can
between.
give any number in between.
Okay.
Minimum of 1, maximum of 26.
Okay. I'm gonna give 1 point to Quinn.
All right then.
Plot thickens.
Like a
Maybe,
soup.
I don't know.
Glad somebody has an idea of what's going on. I have no head for numbers.
Me and Matt don't get along. I'm completely lost.
It's all right. Chris.
I will give 7 points to Joe.
Okay, so Chris gives
Bold move. Maybe.
7.
Was it boldly
Two.
executed?
No idea what the strategy is yet, so I'll say yes.
Number weighing.
All right.
We go.
And so
That's gotta be
Joe,
it.
Joe, you are next.
I'm going to give 17 points to Kate.
Okay, so Kate, you get 17 points.
Risky, very risky.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And Joe, you are down 10. So I have to do some very quick math here. John, you are up next.
11 points to Michael.
All right, so John, you get 11 to Mr. Malern, who incidentally is up next.
Was I supposed to go there?
No, did you already go?
No, I haven't
Okay,
given.
sorry,
points to
I thought I was keeping track of who was going who, and so anyhow, yes, Kate, you need to go.
I am going to give. I have no idea. This is completely a shot in the dark. I'm going to give 1 point to Mark.
Okay, 1 point to Mark. So. Okay, so Quinn, Kat, Michael, have you gone?
No, I
this
haven't.
round? Okay, so you go next.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to give 10 points to Ken.
Okay, 10 points to Ken. So
That'll
Ken
show
gets-
him.
And this one. All right, so Ken, you are up next.
May I give 30 points to Quinn?
I guess.
It's so
So that-
polite.
But he didn't say please.
All right. So, Kay, looks like you are up next.
I guess I need to give 25 points to Carrington.
And I'm back where I started.
I'll show you.
All right. So, Kay gave 25 to Carrington. All right. Boom. And boom. So, has everyone gone this round?
I have not.
Yeah, Mark hasn't.
All right, Mark, you need to go next.
I give 26 points to Quinn.
Interesting.
When you're going to get up to 249, and then it's all going to go down.
It's all going to go pear-shaped.
Yep.
Everybody's sort of like pretending like they have a strategy. It's great.
Oh no, I openly have zero strategy.
I don't.
I have 6 competing strategies.
Charles, I think, did your formula mess up there on Quinn's?
Yeah, I was trying. I thought maybe I could just type in the actual formula, but it didn't work.
You need an equal
So what was it? 55 and 26. So that's
one.
Okay. So now everyone's gone. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've actually played it outside of
So-
theoretically in my head.
I'm not sure how to read these scores. Are you saying that Quinn has 81 points and
Oh,
So
she's-
look at
Mark
the
Quinn
total.
has
Target
131 points.
Yeah. So look at the
Oh, I'm
total.
sorry.
Yeah.
Thank
Quinn
you.
has 131.
Thank you.
And so Quinn gets to go first in this, which is the first of the crazy rounds. Crazy round. Okay. In which players steal points from other players. Again, up to half of their total current score. So
Okay.
Quinn
Of
goes
the
first.
inflicted.
Instead of giving points away, you get to steal them.
All right.
Is it half of the target or half of your own?
Half of the target.
Okay, so I will take 33 points from Kate then.
33 points from Kate. All right. Mhm.
The auto sorting columns are going to mess you up, Charles.
Well, I did that intentionally, but I'm keeping track of who's done by changing colors and stuff in my other copy of the spreadsheet.
Thank God. I thought you were
didn't-
going to say you're doing it in your head.
No, I missed a couple when I was keeping track of things last round. So, Mike,
I'll have 25 of Carrington's points, please.
all right. Why do I not see your up there? And I will do that. All right. And Paul.
Let's see. I think I will I see. You can go either way. Maybe I'll take. How many can I take? 30. What is that? 38 of Michael's.
Of who?
Michael's.
Of Michael? Yes.
No.
Yes, you can take.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
I think I will take half of Michael's just because it seems like a strategy. I think it's 38 if I did my math right.
Uh-huh. And so next up is Chris.
Up to half, right?
Up to half of whoever you want to steal from.
Can I take 82 of Quinn's?
If you'd like.
Would like to do that.
Oh, would you now?
Yes. Wow.
I mean, you gave me most of them, so might as well. You and Carrington.
All right. So let's see here.
We are fickle and confused.
Yes.
82.
Mostly confused.
Yes.
So this is how Apple High Res works? Is this what we're learning?
This is very, yeah, this is, you're taking bits and shifting them over.
Oh, I need that
Wait for the
DMAC
crazy
card
round,
right now.
and then and then you can do green next to purple.
Crazy round number 5 is just a screen hole.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, your turn.
I will take 20 of Paul's points.
Okay. And so next up is John.
Oh, let's see. I'll take 15 of Michael's.
Why, certainly. Would you like them gift wrapped?
No, I'll wear them out. Thank you.
And we'll do that. So you get 15. Oh, sorry, 15. All right. Need to commit that. All right. So Kate, you're next.
Oh gosh.
That look is great.
But the one this is the I really need to get reading glasses, and Zoom won't pinch out like Safari does. So I'm like trying
do I
to
need
see.
to zoom in on this? Do I need to
No,
zoom in on my
no.
window?
Yeah, Kate's doing scary face.
I think I will grab 30 of Joe's points.
Okay, so.
Oh no!
Going down.
Also, I should probably turn the light on. That would probably help.
All right. So next up is Ken, I believe.
So since this game has never been played, I have 2 rules questions.
Mm-hmm.
One is,
why are you here?
Must I necessarily be the recipient of the points I steal?
Yes.
And second question, may I steal my own points?
No.
Thank you. I will take 13 of Carrington's points.
13 from
Those were my best
Carrington.
points.
You're lucky.
Those are my
13
favorite
points.
ones.
That's unlucky for some.
All right. And that takes us to Carrington.
I will take 1 point from K. I will take the 18.
I never said you could.
I want to take one of his
specify,
particular
but
points.
that's fine. It's fine.
Very
Fine. Just that
specific
one.
points.
I want that one. It's the good one.
All right. So Carrington takes 1 from K. And that brings us to
Mark.
Mark, your turn.
I want half of Chris's points.
Yeah, we all do.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I think you mean half of my points.
Okay, so you want half of
We were just
Chris's
holding
points?
them for Chris.
So 63?
Yeah, no, I can't be bothered to do the math.
You have to you have to do the math. That's part of the game.
63.
63 points. And then, so that is 19 for him. Everybody check my math, make sure that I am not totally sleep deprived.
I mean,
I love games where I'm forced to do math.
All right,
This is why
so
I
You are
sort of
going to
stopped
love
bowling at some point.
1980s educational software.
And I do.
And then
Yeah,
we get
I'm looking forward to
K.
looking forward to scanning some new math stuff that I
pass.
scored.
You have my
What was that,
undivided
Kay?
attention.
I said I'd pass.
I'm sorry, you are not allowed to pass.
Yeah.
You must.
Okay, you're
must commit
inventing new
either
rules all of
anywhere
all of a
from
sudden.
1 to half.
I will take 1 point from Carrington, please.
Which one?
One he took from you.
Want my point back.
What's the point of
I think
that?
the rest of the game we should just exchange points.
1 point back and forth.
This game is
volley.
super pointless.
Womp womp.
Womp, womp.
I'm just
All
going
right,
to keep
so-
making point
Yeah.
puns until someone stops me.
No one's gonna
I'm
stop
I'm
you.
going to bring in the wild card.
Oh, do it.
Uh-oh.
Quinn, that's kind of a tangent.
Coming in.
What's your wild card, Chris?
He's joining.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
What?
What's
Oh
happening?
no!
Hey,
Wow.
What I did now?
Ah! Javier,
He's bringing in a ringer.
you're on my team.
That's it.
Why don't I see him? Oh no!
I'm a shill.
Javi, I did have a question for you from your presentation.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been doing hardware mods? Like, how long have you been messing with hardware and
You know how
Yeah.
long?
designing
You know
stuff?
that I
and-
started on this stuff, on the Apple II stuff, because of you. You know that you're the culprit.
I apologize.
It's been like four or 5 years, maybe,
Mhm.
because I
Yeah, 'cause
tried to.
you- Mhm. Go ahead.
No, I tried to modify. The first thing I did, I tried to modify an Apple IIc to put a Macintosh inside, and because I love it so much, I never did it. But that was the beginning of my mod. So
Yeah, because I haven't been around KFest for super long, but I feel like you came along after I did, and then suddenly you're doing like, custom keyboards for the 2C with the Mac effects folks and LEDs and.
well, I want to be like
making
you.
Decals.
I'm just
You know-
looking at trying to
Don't
stand
be
on
like
the
me.
shoulders
Don't be
of
like me.
giants.
Yeah, it's like they say, it's not what you know, it's who you subcontract to.
Hey,
I
Michael.
want to be like you, Dad. You know
Yep.
I want to be like you. And now I got to
Oh.
stand it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm crying.
I'm going to
Right.
attack you with that silver spoon.
Mhm.
Yeah, Charles, you should be doing more mods, man. What's going on?
Well, first off, it was I did a lot of that when I was working for myself, and then I had a full-time job.
Mm,
So 9 to 5 will mess with your
yeah, I know.
hacking time,
I know.
and then just commitments, and I have trouble just putting 2 or 3 hours together to do anything, let alone spray paint in the front yard or build a 3D model for something. I mean, that kind of stuff takes like focus, and I don't have any.
Yeah. I also have a boss. Yeah.
Mhm.
That tells me what to do.
sorry,
That's why
what
I
was that
came a
about?
little bit late now.
What was that about
Sorry.
not having focus in the middle of the spreadsheet game? It got interrupted.
Whoops.
88. Whoa, look.
Sorry, Quinn. Hey,
Shiny.
Quinn.
Squirrel.
Quinn.
No, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love spreadsheets and all, but
Mhm.
This game is.
Boy, you're gonna like this
All right, so-
80s educate. Never mind.
So we're almost at what 40% done with this game? Is that right?
Well, we
On-
can stop
Only
anytime.
only
But,
40%
you know,
done.
who wants
That's
to
what
say
all
they're
addicts
done
say.
and win or lose? It's up to you guys.
well, let's keep it rolling.
and,
We're getting there. We're getting the hang of
yeah.
it here. Let's just roll
Okay.
through it.
So now we're back to a normal round, and looks like Mark is in the lead points wise. So Mark, you go first, and you have to give away points.
I want to give 44 points to Quinn.
Okay, so 44 points to Quinn, and so that gives us Paul. You are up next. Oh, sorry, Quinn. Quinn, you are up
Yeah, I was
next.
gonna say. Excuse me. I am gonna
Took a second
give
for my screen to refresh.
63 points to Michael.
Why, thank you.
63 to Michael, and and that is Michael's
Wait.
turn.
Wait, why is my total 86 if I gave away half my points? Because I was at 126.
No, your total
Yeah,
63 now.
63.
You moved down.
Things have sorted.
Oh, the
Michael's
sorting.
86.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
looking at the
there's
still looking at the
sorting.
top row.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's all of us.
Never mind. Yeah, that
You're not
auto
on top
sorting is
anymore,
brutal.
Quinn.
Yeah, that's me.
This makes for
I'm
great
not.
radio.
All right,
So that's me.
that makes it to Michael's turn.
6 points to K, please.
No, thank you.
Tough. Take them and like it.
Oh, but he was so
Wow.
polite.
All right. And Michael is gone, so now it is Paul's turn.
All right, I will continue the trend.
I'm gone.
34 points to Joe.
I said you have gone, not you are gone.
Ah.
Sorry, Paul. Say that again.
I will follow everyone else's strategy and give 34 points to Joe.
All right. So Joe, you
We'll
get
all end up
34.
average.
I think that's the game here, is to try and not end up in the middle, because it's really hard not to.
And that makes it Joe's turn.
I have to give away points.
You have to give away points.
You just give away one.
True.
Any range from 1 to half of your current.
2 points to Chris.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
And that brings Chris.
I'm going to give 32 points to Javier.
Unfortunately, Javier's not playing.
I'm not
It's
playing.
like a MySQL injection attempt.
However, how many points is that? 34?
32.
32 points to Javier.
Wait, you're not going to let him actually do that, are you? What is going on?
I make the rules, Quinn.
It's like any other card game. You just deal them in.
Is this this isn't some weird? This is Calvin Ball, isn't it?
It's very much like Calvin Ball.
It's
Or
a
is it you to
Charles
12?
game.
16.
Yes, it's Calvin Ball.
And Kate, you are up next.
Okay. How many points do I have? Okay. I don't even know how many.
You have
points I
63.
have. 3 points, yeah. I will give 10 points to Michael. Just to rock the boat.
Boat needs rocking.
Yeah, let's try to break this game.
NK and Chris are doing their best.
Mm-hmm.
Can't break it if I don't know
Rules lawyering all over the place.
Yeah, what's going on? I can't break it.
All right, John, your turn.
Oh, let's give 27 points to Michael.
Waiting for you guys to gang up on each other.
We don't know what the rules are for the next round, so who knows?
It's crazy.
I know the next round could just like blow this all out of the water.
All right, so let's let that sort.
I'm hoping that we need to divide in the next round. Please let us have to divide.
Next round, we were told that none of this was in base 10.
Ken, it is your turn.
And conquer.
22 to Michael.
22 to Michael.
That is correct.
Okay.
Seems I missed something while I was on the other line.
Yeah, I think they decided to gang up on you.
Fair enough. It's just like work.
And that makes it Carrington's turn.
Oh, then I will give 19 points to Gryffindor. No, I will give 19 points.
I wonder who was going to make that joke first. I was thinking about it.
I will give
Somebody just want to bet.
Snitch. Yeah, take your snitch.
Sorry, 19 points to Ken.
To Ken, sure.
All right, so that
Carrington,
is
I thought we were
Slytherin.
friends.
We are. I'm giving you points.
Yeah, he's
All right.
not Gryffindor, he's Slytherin.
I mean, I'm in giving.
It's more of a Hufflepuff, if you ask me.
And now it is Kay's
I am
turn.
100% Slytherin.
I will give 15 points.
Oh, wait, sorry.
What?
It is
No.
Javier's turn.
No, you said it was my turn.
That's fine.
Did Ken get to go?
Hey, let
Ken
him
just went.
go before me.
No, it's okay. I'll wait.
I don't know too much, but what about I give? Who needs points? I need 10 points to Kate. What about that?
Alright. Boom. Done. Now it is Kay's turn.
You sure?
I am.
I will give 15 points to Carrington, please.
I will take them. Give myself some agency.
All right, and so now that takes us to the next crazy round.
Oh no!
In which each player chooses another player to swap your point totals with, and there's no swapping back. So no backsies, and we are
White
going to
elephant
go.
action.
So, yes, and we are going to go in. We're going to start with point order, and so yeah, Michael, you go first.
So difficult. I'll swap with Quinn.
Okay, so Michael, you are swapping with Quinn.
I'm wondering.
And Quinn, who are you swapping with?
I mean, obviously, I'm going to swap with K, but I don't expect it to stay that way since it's not really white elephant rules. I don't have another chance, right?
You can do whatever you want except Mike. You can choose anyone except for Michael.
Right. All right. I'll swap with K.
Okay. So Quinn with K. And K.
I will swap with Javier.
All right.
Oh. Jeez.
All right. So Javier, I don't know if you caught the rules, but
Don't worry, but no, he missed him. No, he
Okay.
missed
All
him.
right.
Don't worry about it.
Late entry, it's fine.
No rules? Okay.
I'm totally
Well,
kidding.
I'll swap with Ken because he has too little.
Javier is a fascinating wild card in all this.
And Ken. You're
Have we
muted.
got a
It's
Ken?
like
Muted,
I
Ken.
sorry, it wasn't that I was muted, it was that I was actually thinking for a long time.
he's
Because
speechless.
Because game is weird. I will swap with Quinn.
Don't
All right,
overthink
so
it.
Ken has swapped with Quinn.
It's the worst sort algorithm ever.
And
Kansas sort.
since did I? Oh, okay. And since Quinn has already gone, it is Kate's turn.
I'm gonna do nothing and swap with Michael.
I was wondering if somebody would do that. I like that.
Was that you're going to swap with Michael?
Yeah, because we have the same amount of points.
Yeah,
All
but we
right.
want to see the maths. We want to see you working.
63 equals 63.
There you go.
Even I can.
All
do
right. Yeah. So next
Yeah,
up,
But I want
that
to know.
means
I want to
Kate
know if
and
Chris,
Michael have already
I want to
gone.
know if Charles could do it.
If I could do what? The math?
The high maths. Yeah, I wanted to see your working steps for the swapping 63s. Otherwise,
I
you
gotta
don't
say, I
get
can
any
only do
points.
one math. I cannot do maths. Plural.
No, maths is singular.
Okay. So Joe, you're up next.
I'm gonna swap with Kate.
My point.
Beautiful points.
Your point. Point.
Okay, so Joe has already gone. Kate has also already gone, which leads us to Mark. Your turn.
Swap with Quinn.
All right.
That is two marks. You really did
Mark.
swap with Quinn.
So Javier's done. Carrington is your turn.
Charles, you have 2 marks.
Yeah, I
How do I do it?
disappeared.
I
Do I have
wonder
two
which
marks?
one to swap
Oh, no.
with.
Uh-oh. Boop, boop,
Sorry, Mark.
and boop, boop, and no. There we go. Sorry. I did a copy instead of a paste.
Charles is actually learning how to use spreadsheets. We've just
We're helping him
That's
learn.
all
Got
this
really
is,
good
is
last year.
Charles
We're
learns
crowdsourcing
how
his
to
education,
use-
right?
Yeah, right. I have PowerPoints about this.
I'll do a presentation next year. Carrington.
I will swap with Chris. That'll show you.
2 points.
But they're wonderful
And-
handcrafted points.
Artisanal.
Shiniest of points.
And I think that means that Chris, you are up next.
All right. I will swap with Ken.
So what scares me is this is in a spreadsheet, but Charles has like another spreadsheet. So at the end of this, we're going to find out that none of this matters and there's a whole other set of maths he was doing.
Well, no, it's just two different sheets, two different views of the same sheet. This one does, the one that you're seeing on the screen is actually auto sorting. And then I do the math in a different one where everything's alphabetical. Well, it's not now because everybody swapped their crap around. But anyhow, next
long as
up,
it
it
doesn't-
looks like is going to be Paul.
As long as it doesn't turn into Dynasty where it was all a bad dream.
No, nobody's going to become stepping out of the shower.
Yeah, that was Dallas.
Sorry.
Wrong dynasty.
Yeah, I have no idea. Well, I do know why I know that. Thanks, Mom.
Unless we're talking about, wasn't there a scene elsewhere or something where everybody's living, now suddenly in the same universe?
Yeah, I'll explain it to you later.
That's also the
I was thinking
explanation for like the
Bob
watermelon.
Newhart show where you just wake up and it's
I'll swap with K.
All right, so Paul. Okay. And finally, John. your turn.
I will swap with Chris.
Going for the gold.
All right, so now everyone is done crazy round. Now we can go with the next, and let's just call it the final round. And so Mark, you are up first.
Mark had to go. So I think maybe it would be a fun game to see if we can get him to win somehow.
All right, how about this, Javier? You can play Mark's points too.
Sure. What do you want me to do?
Give them ultimate. No.
You have to guess what the rules are.
Give them all to yourself. Yes.
Okay, I'll keep him.
Well, Mark said in the chat that he bequeathed all his points to
Yeah,
Quinn.
I was going to say.
I think
Yeah, I
that's
think
binding.
Quinn get. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I actually didn't see that. Yeah.
Oh, then
it does.
yeah.
Sorry, I missed
think we-
the chat.
All right.
All right, so Quinn, you get to deal with Mark's points then.
All right. Can you go ahead and update my total then? Or
No, you're playing Mark's points as a separate.
You
I
can give them
see.
to yourself now.
I could.
them to
Okay.
yourself.
So I forget what a normal round is. We're giving away points.
Sorry.
Giving points.
You are
Stealing
giving
points.
away up to half
No.
of your points, at least
Oh,
one,
sorry.
up to half.
Okay. So I will give 69 of Mark's points to John.
You can do 70, can't you? Is that right?
Total's
69 is
130. Oh, can I do 70? I wasn't sure if we
Yeah,
round
you
up
can
or
do
down.
70.
Okay, 70
you
points. to John.
round up when you're giving away.
All right.
So you're going to give me 70 to John. And now, John, is your turn.
Let's go ahead and give 40 to Paul.
So Joe, you are up next.
Oh, the strategies. I have no idea. I will give 1 point to Quinn.
All right. Michael, your turn.
Wait, don't I go next because he gave me a point?
Oh, sorry. I thought you had already. No, Michael's up next.
But doesn't
Okay,
the person that got the
he's
points?
high-
Based on the sorting, whoever has the highest current score, which is Michael,
Okay, I understood less of this than I thought, clearly.
because you've already played Mark's turn.
Welcome to my club.
Okay, I give 3 points to Chris.
Yeah, the whole round robin thing was from the giving away round, or sorry, the swapping round, because you couldn't swap back. So whoever swapped got to choose who was swapping next. I made it intentionally difficult and confusing because that's just how I felt at the time. Difficult and confusing. That's me. All right. So Michael has just gone. Mark, Joe, Kate, it is your turn.
There's a whole bunch of us tied. That's kind of fun. I will give 5 points to Mark.
All right.
Since he's not here to defend himself.
I did kind of like the idea of us trying to make Mark win.
See, I keep trying to make these games where people can kind of team up and, strategize together, but everybody's just playing for themselves.
We're human.
I think there's too many of us too. That's like if it were like 5 people, you could see teaming up, but
All right. Well, Paul, it is your turn.
okay. Well, I think the only thing that gives me any hope here, yeah, it is tempting. Can we do that? Okay, I'm going to try it. We'll see what happens. 31 points to Mark.
I like this idea.
Sorry.
I think it is mathematically impossible, but nevertheless,
Is it?
I like
I'm
the
trying to
idea
look at
anyway.
who hasn't gone, and if we all give half to Mark, can we do it?
All right. So Paul, gone. Mark and Joe and Michael have gone. Kate, you've already gone. John, it is your turn.
I think I won already. Didn't I?
You went already? Oh,
Thought I
I
had.
apologize. Quinn.
No, that's okay.
Then.
Okay. I think I will give 23 to Chris.
Chris is the new Mark.
Evil.
I've always said.
An odd slogan.
And so, Chris, it looks like it is your turn.
All right. I would give 27 points to Mark.
Yeah, take that, Quinn. We're gonna make Mark win anyway.
Now, who is remembering the actual rules?
I remember the rules.
I think I do.
I think Quinn's gonna win.
Who is left to go?
All right. So, Kay, Javier, you need to go next.
Okay, so I'll give. Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, it was, this round you're giving away points.
Don't tell him the rules. Let Javi should do what he wants. I think Javi's the wild card.
I do what I want.
Do what I want, Thor.
He's just going to paint all the points black.
But I got -3 points. How many?
No, you have 40.
You have 40 total.
You have
that's
40.
40.
Your
That was
totals,
your-
yeah, your
Oh, I'm
totals
looking
in
at total.
column K. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give 20 to my friend Joe.
Okay. And that is Javi's turn. And so it is Kay, your turn.
Yeah, I
I
think
will-
I see the line now. Too late.
I will give 17 points to Quinn.
This is whoever goes last wins, I think, is this game.
Target player does not win this turn cards.
So that was Kay. That was Kay's turn, and that means it is Ken's turn. Yes, not so much whoever goes last wins. It's whoever goes last gets to be the spoiler.
I'll give 17 points to. Crap.
No, they're not.
I'll
playing.
give 3 points to K.
3 points to Kay.
Brutal.
Because you want to make a tie game.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, because
Well, no, I actually just don't want either of them to win. So a tie is the best I can do.
But then we go into the
And
actual
so
rounds.
finally, bringing up the rear is Carrington.
So I will give 16 points to my buddy Kay. My
Boo,
pal.
Carrington.
Aww.
Wow.
And so
I love it.
our winner is Carrington. Woo! With
job,
a total
Carrington.
of 16 points. Lowest point score wins. Congratulations.
So how many moves ahead did you know that was going to happen?
I didn't, 'cause
Last round, I
honestly,
knew
you guys
the
could've
sweet spot was to
ganged
be
up on
about 5 or 6
people.
from the bottom.
Yeah, that's I figured out the 250 is really hard to get to, but it's real easy to keep your score low if you play it right. And I figured the
But if you're-
line about
Yeah, but if you're too low
Few
when we start
seconds
round
too
6,
late.
people are going to dump
Yeah.
on you. So.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That was what I was thinking too. Like try to target somewhere not quite the bottom.
I was targeting row 9. I wanted to be row 9 at the start of round 6.
And I realized a little too late that I didn't want to necessarily target the person with the lowest score. You want to target with the person with the lowest score who hasn't played yet this round.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been.
I kept hoping nobody remembered I hadn't played. I'm sitting here quietly.
I think my score
I've been keeping
underscores the
track on my
fact that
other sheet with like making whoever has played bold and then going down the list. It was a lot easier when everything was alphabetical before I did the crazy round where everybody swapped. But so anyhow, that is
a game
to
that
be
will
named
never
later.
Number Wang. That's Number Wang.
Number Wang. All right, Number Wang. So Carrington wins Number Wang. Round
indoors.
1. Sorry?
I said stay indoors. Another relevant quote from the same show.
Yeah. Fold up the map, put it in the box, and put it in the back of the cupboard, never be played again.
And don't forget to spay and neuter your pets and be nice to each other. So that I will stop sharing that screen, and now everybody can we can all say our good nights. And now I can see Javier's smiling face. Hello, Javi. Seeing as it is 8:50 on the East Coast, and I haven't had supper. I'm getting hungry. I know a lot of you are too.
Yeah.
Michael's ready for breakfast. So
Breakfast?
I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go around the screen,
Brunch.
my screen at least, and give everybody an opportunity to say goodbye and good night. And so we'll start with Chris.
All right. Goodbye and good night, and we'll see you next time.
All right. No closing remarks. Just that.
Nah, it's good.
All right. Kat.
Good night, Gracie.
John.
Have a very good evening, and looking forward to hopefully seeing most of you in person next year.
In person, 2022. Woo! Quinn.
I just want to say thanks to the KFest committee. An event like this, even virtual or not, is a lot of work. So thank you all for doing this. Really appreciate it. Well, hopefully, see you all next year.
Absolutely. And Michael.
Well, I hope you all enjoy your breakfast, but it's definitely bacon and eggs time for me. And again, to the organizers, this was the best work Zoom conference I have been in for the last 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, you're up next.
You're good. You're good. I'm going to use my video and Chris's audio just to screw up anybody who has to edit this. Thanks all for making for another great Kansas Fest. You can always check out JuiceGS magazine at www.juice.gs.
And thank you, Ken. Carrington.
KansasFest is amazing. Virtual KansasFest just reminds me how much I miss you guys. So really hope we can do it in person this time.
Paul.
Yep. So what are we saying? Good night and
just closing
thanks.
remarks.
But thanks everybody for showing up for this. I mean, it's been lots of people contributed lots of really interesting talks. We couldn't even include them all in the schedule. Having everybody participate is part of the thing that makes this work at all. So thanks everybody for also being willing to put up with the virtual version one more time.
And Kay, I apologize.
Good night and good luck.
Joe.
Threatening.
Thanks for having me on KFest this year, guys. It's awesome. I'm sad that it had to be virtual this year, but next year we'll be all in person, we hope, and it'll be super awesome. And my final remark is, it does not surprise me I lost our game. I am bad at math.
Next year in the Holy Land. And Javier.
Hey, thank you very much for having me at least a few minutes. And don't forget to follow me, youtube.com/havemaster and 8-bit tees.
Like, comment,
Thank
subscribe.
you very much, guys. And I'll see you
with a J, right?
With a J, Have Master. And please, I want to see you all. Honestly, I miss you all in person. So hopefully I see you next year.
All right.
Thank you.
And on behalf of all 13 of us,
I was doing gang signs.
Yeah. Mangin Games
I
Incorporated.
wish you a happy KFest, and it's all about the people. Good night.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Retro compute.
Retro Bright.
Retro
Ooh, Commodore.
compute.
That was about as good as the retro
Atari.
compute we do on the RCR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recording stopped.
Recording.
Let's throw
And
about
stop the
compute.
YouTube.
Correct.
Stop the YouTube stream, please.
Yeah.
The
It's
YouTube
not old.
has stopped.
Yeah. It's not old. He's Retro Bright.
I'm gonna end the meeting. Adios.
Yep.
Bye,
Okay.
All right, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Good night.
Miss you.
Thanks
Bye.
for